Hello, guys, and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 251. Today's show will be covering the most recent news, which is covering the multiboxing. And a lot of people are a little bit confused about the multiboxing policy exactly. We had a new policy change. We'll go into the details of exactly what it means having multiple accounts is okay. Using certain software is not. We also have very, very exciting news, which is that the pre-patch event is tomorrow. Tomorrow for NA and the day after for us in EU. We always get things a little bit later. But before we jump into anything, though, let me introduce myself. My name is Annie, or also known as Annie Fuchsia, and I'm a full-time streamer on Twitch. I play a lot of World of Warcraft. My co-host is the lovely Wowhead director, Perculia.
Hey everyone, I'm Perk. I am joined by Brightpaw, our little cat mascot, and we are excited to be here. Only 2 weeks until Shadowlands. Brightpaw is thumping his tail. He's very excited too. And while the news isn't as big as last week because we had the release date announcement and a bunch of gear, we still have some interesting things with the multi-boxing announcements and pre-patch speculation with that juicy Nathanos cinematic, and even some new merchandise to talk about, like face masks going on sale. So yeah,
Indeed, and Brightpaw is keeping us company here, making
I
sure that we're
know.
talking about all the important news, the news that cover anything to do with cats, of course. Uh,
Of course.
Speaking of cats, we did mention this earlier. Brightpaw might be interested in this because when it comes to multiboxing, a very popular class choice for many is actually druids. So, Perk, the whole multiboxing thing. Are we meant to panic if we have multiple WoW accounts? What's going on?
So, multi-boxing, as Blizzard clarified, is not against the terms of service. You can have multiple accounts. But what is changing is if you use. Oh no, he doesn't like this.
No, I can't play my druids anymore.
That was a dramatic introduction. What is changing is you cannot use input broadcasting software. So basically, that means is that if you used a program where you assigned one keystroke to do the same thing in multiple game clients, so you only had to hit one button and then it did the same thing in 10 versions of WoW, that is now not allowed in World of Warcraft. And you may have seen some people doing this if they're collecting herbs in Nazjatar or dominating in World PvP. So you can still multi-box it, but you'll have to like alt tab between the accounts to control them, as opposed to using this software to synchronize all your accounts at the same time.
Yep. So if you're like me,
And
happen to sometimes run two accounts, one account follows the other, and you're farming
yeah,
transmog or whatever, you're still fine.
yeah. They also clarified that at first they were going to send out warnings, and I believe those warnings have already been sent out. They've started to be sent out. And they're going to escalate to account actions, which can then include suspension and, if necessary, permanent closure of players' WoW accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of mixed reactions where some people were saying good for Blizzard, this wasn't how the game was intended to be played. Other people were more in the middle and they're like, this is cool, but do something about the botters that are such a problem in WoW Classic. And then other people said that they enjoyed doing this, or they found it was necessary to either make gold or prepare their characters, and Blizzard should change things so they didn't feel that they would have to do this. So I think it's mostly a good change, though. This was not how Blizzard wanted the game to be played. And yes, you can still multi-box and have a few characters following each other, but this seemed to be sort of over the top, and we don't want Blizzard having to balance like herb node spawns or various things around extreme, behavior like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My personal opinion on this is I can't believe it took this long. I feel like
Yeah.
multiboxing has always felt a little bit like, is that really okay? It feels
Yeah.
game breaking in many ways, and it may not be as hurtful for the economy on retail, but I do believe that it's been very, very hurtful to economy in classic, since in classic farming raw material is worth a lot more than it is on retail, or in at least relative to how much gold is in the game. So it does feel like it definitely had a huge impact on classic, and I'm glad this happened because, like you said, I don't feel like this is in any way a way where the game is meant to be played. So it's good that this is now not allowed anymore to not just break economies.
Yeah, I think this is good for the economy. Blizzard has been trying to do a lot of changes, to the auction house, make it easier to use, and trying to, revitalize professions in Shadowlands. And it just really helps with balance, not having to worry about, like, will someone, flood the market with herbs, and will the supply greatly exceed what we expected in the first few weeks?
Mm-hmm.
If they want something to be rare and multi-boxers are making it easy to get, it could change some things. So
Mm-hmm.
we should, based on what we are seeing and economy predictions, we should be seeing that the supply of herbs and ore will go down, which then will lead the price of resulting consumables to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And token prices may end up going down as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously, another huge factor on the economy are bots, and hopefully I do know that a lot of people who tend to report people that they see out in the world who are botting do actually get, because I've seen this myself, I didn't actually realize this is a thing, but a lot of people get an in-game response for that, where it says something along the lines of, yeah, a person that you recently have reported actions have been taken against them, or something like that. So I feel like, if you do see botters out there, and you just spare a moment to report them, just keep doing it, and hopefully Blizzard will get better at actually getting to the core of that problem too, because I think botting is a much bigger problem than multiboxing, but multiboxing isn't good either.
I also wonder, with all the hints surrounding TBC Classic, if this change was done to perhaps lead to a smoother launch with that, or prevent some loopholes there as well. Like, maybe they've learned some things that went wrong with Classic, and they're trying to, tighten things up if there's another Classic launch on the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe they felt like with Classic it was too late to change anything, but they want to kind of start fresh with TBC coming. And
Mm.
something that we talked about before, whenever they work on tech or something, or an idea in one part of the game, they normally apply it to the rest of the game. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's a
they're
good
already
thing.
putting in, bug fixes for Phase 6 that weren't, fixed until Burning Crusade. So it could be that they heard the feedback that, midway through Classic, everything was just, either multi-boxing or botters, and it was difficult to find groups, and maybe they're trying to change that. But it would still be good to hear, like, concrete updates on their botting progress as well, because that was such a um that was such a well publicized issue, how the botters were sort of overrunning servers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep,
Uh,
yep.
Also, as a side note, I appreciated how the image Blizzard picked to go along with the post was Malfurion looking sad, like he's looking down on all these multivoxing druids that are doing the wrong thing, that are going
Yeah,
away.
it's actually funny. Like
Yeah.
a little side note, a little disappointed nod to the druids. Just like Brightpaw, who just left us. It's like, I
Yep.
can't play this game anymore. I can't multi-box.
Actually, he's still on the desk, and he just pulled the
Oh.
wire out of the mic again.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no more
So
talking for you, Human.
yeah, maybe this. I feel like all these products need, when they say, oh, QA and can withstand this, use
Mm-hmm.
in esports, they just need to have a cat, like 5 minutes with a cat. And it's like, will your wire stay put? Will the device stay upright? Will the cat knock it over? Will the cat unplug it? They need to do that sort of testing as well.
Yeah. But that's
But
pretty much it on
oh
the
no, don't knock
multi-boxing
the light
thing.
over
So,
Bright Paw.
yeah, multi-boxing is not bannable using certain software or input. What is it called exactly? Let me say the correct phrase.
Input broadcasting software.
Yes, so using these input broadcasting softwares is the part that makes it bannable.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that is what is up with the multi-boxing situation. You can still do
Mm-hmm.
it. You just can't use the software. So you can still multi-box. It will just be more difficult to do, not as convenient. But if you really want to, you can.
Yep. And on to more exciting news, we have the pre-patch event finally after weeks and weeks and weeks of anticipating and waiting. We have the event going live tomorrow for NA and the day after for EU. So this is the first content patch per se of Shadowlands in a way. We did have the pre-patch hit before, but it didn't really give us anything new. It was more the removal of old things such as corruption and the squishes and different abilities going away, coming back, and now we have actual new content to go through. So what do we have, Perk? What new content can we
So
expect with this?
first up, we have the zombie invasions. They are attacking in Stormwind and Orgrimmar. This is the third time they are doing so. We saw this during Naxxramas in Vanilla, and then leading up to Wrath of the Lich King. This isn't as potent as past ones, but you can still turn into a zombie, infect other players, kill yourself, explode yourself, uh, do all sorts of chaotic things, and those are in the capital cities. Then there is a special Death Rising quest line, which is interesting because it unlocks dailies, which are, very useful because you can earn commendations to buy rewards. But they're in 2 weeks, and after the first week, there is you will confront Nathanos Blightcaller, and it includes a cinematic. So that's interesting. I don't know if do we need spoilers for this part, or just what do we think will happen? Because what do you think?
I don't know. I guess to be safe, I kind of feel like saying it's fine, but maybe to be safe, we just put
Yeah.
the spoiler tag.
Okay.
I'll put it up,
Yeah.
so you can go ahead.
Yeah. So if you've read the book Shadows Rising, it ended with Sylvanas defeating Bolvar, and then she turns to Nathanos, and she's really upset that he failed at his mission to defeat Bonsomdi, and then she sends him back to the Plaguelands. And now, in the pre-patch event, the event starts with Sylvanas capturing leaders like Anduin and Thrall, and then the quest line ends with us confronting Nathanos. We know based on data mine dialogue that apparently he's defeated, and Tyrande has the killing blow. She was the only faction leader that resisted Sylvanas's attack. But I'm still really curious what's going on, because if characters that die go to the Shadowlands, like, did we just send Nathanos back to Sylvanas? Like, was
Yeah,
this a trap?
this
Like,
is
it's
the
there's so many
confusing
times.
concept. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many times where it's like, oh, we thought we got Nathanos, but haha, he survives. So I'm just like, is he really dead, or is he like, outsmarting us? Like, was this a trap for us to, I don't know,
Yeah, like this was
attack him
planned
instead
all
of doing
along.
something else?
Mm-hmm. It's like that's where I want to
But
end up anyway, so let's waste their time.
yeah. So, but there is a cinematic. So, and we've seen like very small split seconds of in the Shadowlands ad that's been floating around, of like Nathanos firing an arrow and Tyrande looking really angry. So, maybe I'm sure there'll be some sort of confrontation between them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it'll be interesting either way. I hope it's not that he escaped, because I think that would just sort of not be satisfying, and just kind of furthers the idea of they've got plot armor, or it doesn't it never feels good fighting him because he's always going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it would be interesting if like Tehran did something that prevented him from, I don't know, going to the
Mm-hmm.
Shadowlands. Like maybe her magic is strong. Who knows? But I hope he's dead. I don't want to see him in like I just yeah, too
Yep.
much escaping on his end.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree with that. I hope to see something a bit more final than another sort of escape. I think maybe like some kind of small, not escape, but some kind of twist because of the Shadowlands could be acceptable, but only for a short while, and then something more conclusive. I think after that would be fitting. I think especially with the recent things of his relationship with Savannah's, it does feel like maybe he doesn't have a lot of time left anymore.
yeah, it's like she's sort of over him now at this point.
Yeah,
She's on to her
yeah.
new life, and he
She's
was
kind of
like the
throwing him
last part of
away.
the old life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
um, but yeah. So,
Spoiler tag gone.
in addition to the quests,
Oh, go ahead.
there are dailies,
Mm-hmm.
and there are dailies in Icecrown, Stormwind, and Orgrimmar, and there are also bosses that you can kill in Icecrown. A lot of the old ones from like Naxxramas or Wrath dungeons, and they drop updated versions of their epics,
Mm-hmm.
including a 34 slot bag. So
Oh,
that's a big deal.
34. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get max one of them?
Yes, it is
Mm-hmm.
unique,
Mm-hmm.
and it requires level 50 to use.
Mm-hmm. And this new currency that you get from the dailies, is that only to get this new gear, or is there anything else that's interesting to buy?
So the gear has a really boring model, which everyone is sad by because everyone wanted the old invasion gear to return that, look like paladins.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a recolor of some like early Warfront gear.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a few items but if you don't care about appearances, the gear is good if you have a fresh level 50. Like the gear is very good. It's equivalent to normal Nyalotha loot after the squish.
Time to gear my
Um,
alts.
Yep, it is item level 100 for level 50 players.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things you can get, though, for commendations. There is the Anti-Doom Broom, and then the Putrid Geist Battle Pet.
Okay. Wait,
And doing all
anti-doom
these things,
broom. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, doing all these things can also give you Argent reputation. So if you, I don't know, need reputations or want the title tied to that, this is a good way to get some extra rep,
Mm-hmm.
similar to the past events.
Yep.
Um, and yeah. So I think that what do you think about this event compared to past events Blizzard has done?
So because I never really experienced the old ones, I'm kind of just excited for it to be here because I want to see how it feels to be in these cities. If I compare it to the recent expansions, um, hmm, I kind of have to experience it for a day or two first, and then I can give
Right.
a better answer to that. Tell me what your thoughts on this is, though.
So, I feel like, I mean, narrative wise, it's gonna feel better than BFA because, you're not seeing cities being destroyed. And I think the rewards are interesting as well, a greater variety. I do think that, I think I prefer the rewards of Legion though, because the gear you could get had a unique, it felt more like thematically cool because it was all fell green and the weapons were pretty special, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
there was that like special toy in the capital city and the Doomsayers with their funny pamphlets. So I feel like the Legion one had a good variety of stuff. Oh yeah, plus we had the Demon Hunters as well. So it was like a brand new class you could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the Legion event out of the recent ones, um, I remember that fondly. I think that this event is pretty good. I'm not sure they needed to nerf the zombies, and I think they should have brought back the sort of paladin Judgment recolor gear instead of the Dread Gladiator sets. I don't think it makes a ton of sense because we're meant to have BFA behind us, and it's not about the factions. It's about like working together, and any difference, it's the covenants. It feels weird having Alliance and Horde themed armor that
Completely
resembles
agree. Yeah.
like Arathi, because that's when everyone really hated each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, it feels a little out of place.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the gear part. I do think that they should have had something that's a bit more unique. Maybe the recolor of the paladin thing that you talked about, or maybe even something new, which was only obtainable during this invasion, and then once the invasion is over, it would no longer be obtainable. I think that would actually be really cool. Um, Except for that, I think it feels okay though. We'll see how it plays out once it's actually live, but it feels okay. Transmog wise, a little bit disappointing though.
Yeah. Also, just going back to the Ice Crown rares, I do think it was interesting to have the rares
Yeah, I think
present.
that's really cool having those bosses come back.
Yeah, and another thing which was cool, which we forgot to mention, is that like I like the throwbacks, and another one is the haunted memento. So you know that item in your bag,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't do anything, but then like the shade follows you around, and you have the debuff. There's a new version of that that is coming. So
Mm,
I
that's
think that
cool.
little references like that are neat. Also, the Argent tournament has some interesting new details. Like apparently, there's a sign. You know how like they all have like Sylvanas like banners because it was back in Wrath and people liked her then.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Sylvanas banner has been torn down. So
Oh,
there could be like a lot of little details here and there which are which are interesting.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, I look
yeah,
forward to
I think
exploring it
it
all.
could be good. I feel like this is better than BFA. It's better than Warlords, which also didn't totally like make a ton of sense. Like it's like, oh, we're time traveling now, have fun. Um,
Yeah.
and the mop event was super rushed as well. I think I remember I was calling it an event, and someone from Blizzard told me not to call it an event because they didn't want expectations to be super
Oh.
high.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a week where you could do the Theramore scenario before the expansion started. Um,
Oh.
and it wasn't like anything new. It just was a week before. The rewards were cool that you could get, like the tabard from Theramore, but yeah, it was pretty small. So I think that this is one of the better events, all things considered, with
Yeah.
the variety of stuff to do, whether you are max level or still leveling.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to see if I'm happy with it once I actually play through it, but from my perspective right now, it feels pretty fun to see all these cities having these invasions and then also coming across these bosses in Ice Crown. And a lot of them had loot which was references to old loot too, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
went through some of
example,
them. Mm hmm.
yeah, like the minuscule abomination in a jar
Mm hmm.
is like tiny abomination in a jar from
Mm hmm.
Professor Putricide.
Yep.
um or like Patchwork
Mm
has some of his items. Obviously he's very popular.
hmm.
Lady Death Whisper has Death Whisper's vestments, and that looks like tier 10
Mm hmm.
um druid appearance. Lots of stuff like that.
Yeah. So currently, the only negative that I can see, at least kind of clearly, is the transmog choice for the invasion gear. Um, I think that's the only negative that I see right now, and then we'll see how it feels.
Yeah,
But
I would
good
also
luck,
say
everyone,
that if
going into it and exploring it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I say that just the transmog, and also that the zombies aren't as chaotic as they used to be. But
Oh, okay.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh the event will be kind of repeating itself in WoW Classic very soon, so I guess you can
Then you can
go over
compare.
there if you want hard mode zombies.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. I think I'll do that to
Yeah.
experience
The one
both.
thing I would also be curious about is I know people really liked how there was the Legion invasions because of like your alts could do those for experience while also getting transmog, and I just wonder how the experience will play out in this one. Because
Oh.
yes, there are the quests to do, and there are dailies, But I know people really liked, popping up and doing the Legion invasions that might have been a more regular way to get experience.
Mm-hmm. I do like the idea of catching up with gear and experience through invasions. So yeah, I do hope that is possible to get some. You might have characters that are sitting at like level 45, 47, and
Yeah.
being able to push them using invasions, I think would be cool.
Yeah. So we will be covering everything that is going on with the event tomorrow. If there are bugs, if there's the cinematic, if there's some like interesting loot or lore cameo that we were unaware of, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a good cinematic and it won't be, oh, Tyrande is victorious because like she lost everything and
Yeah.
he still escaped. So, uh, but yeah, that is a pre-patch event. And the timing is really good as well because we've had the pre-patch for a few weeks and it was hype, and now people are, playing other games, and this can be good to get people playing WoW again.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of
So,
playing WoW again, nice
yeah.
transition into the next topic. I
Yeah.
can hear a slight echo sometimes.
Hmm.
Do you have me on speakers?
I'm checking. I was noticing that testing, is this did the echo
It's
go
when
away?
I speak. Testing. One, two, three. Yeah, it seems good. Or maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I just like refresh stuff. Maybe Brightpaw like reset things when he pulled
I yeah,
the microphone out.
I think it's good now. I don't hear
Okay.
myself anymore, so that's good.
Cool.
Um
Um so yeah, welcome back weekend.
yes, the welcome
Um
back weekend, November 5th until 9th, which is today. For a few
yeah,
more
it's
hours.
still going on US realms. I think it was turned off on EU, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering at
Um
what time it's supposed to switch off because then it might be over ready for EU.
I was meant to switch off
Midnight, it says.
23:59 CET.
Yeah, so I think that's another hour then for EU.
Okay.
Yeah. So this
So,
event, what it means is that you can play the game without a subscription, and yeah, do whatever you want. Play as if you have a subscription, basically. These events don't, or these free weekends don't happen very often, so it's pretty cool to see. And no doubt, it's definitely a way to make people try out the game right before the big things are happening.
yeah, I think they did one leading up to BFA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always nice to have these back, especially because I think one time when they did a free weekend, there was like a lot of restrictions on them, so you couldn't actually do the new content. But with this event, you can, do the character customization, you can do all the leveling, you can try out the class changes, you can try out the starting experience in Exile's Reach, and you can try a bunch of the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's with the pandemic still going on and getting worse in the United States, this is also a good way to stay inside and not go outside and get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And I think, yeah, honestly, I'm surprised there's not more of these free weekends
Agreed. Yeah.
in general, because I feel like World of Warcraft has had a subscription based type of game plan since ever. And with, if you compare games back then to games now, 15 years ago to today, there's a lot more very good free games in today's society than there was back then. And I feel like to help Blizzard in that sense, giving people more free weekends or just some random times where you can play without a subscription feels like, why not? I think it would give a lot of people a reason to try it out. Maybe bored one weekend and happen to notice that it's actually free to play at that time. I'm not sure if in the long run that could be negative, but I feel like that could only be positive, giving people a chance to play, and then they might end up actually subscribing because they realize they want to play.
Yeah, I don't think there's any downsides to that. I feel like after we saw the success of the like free weekends for the classic beta, if anyone has an account,
Yeah.
uh, that we were even wondering if they would do that during Shadowlands beta, having weekends where everyone with a subscription could just play the beta to get hype. And,
Mm-hmm.
extending that further, it's like, well, yeah, why don't you just open up the live game to more people then on key weekends to get them hype for it? Because you can't do everything in a weekend. With the way stories are gated, if they did something with a pre-patch week 1, there's still week 2 of the pre-patch stories,
Mm-hmm.
so you would still get people hooked and wanting to see more.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm trying to think of like the worst case scenario. What could a free weekend do? I guess people who feel like they only play every other weekend anyways, they may decide to not subscribe and wait for those weekends to happen. But I feel like those weekends are not likely to be used for much anyways because you can't really progress much, as you said. If you play for one weekend, everything is staggered. Even the
Yeah, you
regular
can't open
weekly
up your
reset.
your Tuesday chest. Yeah, you,
Yeah,
you don't get any of that stuff.
yeah, like if you do a weekly Mythic Plus, it doesn't matter because you can't open the chest anyways. So I'm
Yeah.
curious why there hasn't been more. I mean, maybe it's something they are considering. Maybe they want to do it right, but it is so interesting that we haven't seen more of them because I do think that they could be good for the game, and especially if they would make it so they do it on weekends where certain aspects of the game is promoted more. So maybe they have a free weekend, and this weekend extra bonuses maybe or like the weekends that we already have, or the like the
Hmm.
battleground weeks, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Then it would promote those people, encourage those people to actually play BGs as well, and that way they can decide to promote different kinds of activities based on the aspects of the game that has been played less.
Yeah, I think it also been good when they announced those bonuses that lasted a long time, like the experience bonus and the rep bonus. If when they announced it, they would say, "Oh, and for the first weekend, anyone can play," because I feel like you would have gotten even more people coming back in April and trying out the game if there was like a free weekend to welcome people back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it
So,
could be a good thing.
yeah.
I'm
So
trying to
hopefully
think
we'll
in
see
like a
more of these.
pessimistic way, but or greedy
I mean, I
way,
guess
but
if there's two more, too many people could say, "Oh, like why am I paying for a subscription?
yeah.
Like I should be reimbursed for,
The reimbursement
these four
topic.
days."
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you pay
But
for a month, but then 4 of those days were free.
yeah, but if it's like once or twice a year, it's, or like I guess 3 times. I don't know. It feels like it's not a huge deal. Um, but I don't know. To me, it just seems really positive.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And good point. They don't have to be very often either. They could just be a couple days,
Yeah, like we're
a
talking
couple
right now, we get
times.
one per year. So it's like if we added twice or 3 times a year, that would still.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
even once a year, right? The last one was before BFA, so it's like once every 2, 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
So change it
exactly.
to maybe twice a year, something like that.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be 4 or 5 days, it could be 2 days.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it would be good. Maybe this could be something they could even do in early 2021, because Blizzard is always, concerned that everyone like spends money and they play in quarter 4 at the end of the year, and then the new year starts and people don't play as much and they don't want to spend as much. So it's like, okay, well, give people a free weekend so they are excited about, maybe playing the game, maybe make it a little, easier as like a, fun thing to do after the new year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It
I
could
think.
also help,
Mm-hmm.
when Final Fantasy games come out or another game comes out and Blizzard tries to
Oh, the
do
same
something.
weekend that you can play for free,
Yeah,
guys. Don't play those new
yeah.
games.
I feel like
That's clever.
people would enjoy the free days to play, I think, more than the, oh, look, Blizzard's trying to get attention by dropping, another shop mount, to
Yeah,
take the attention away from a game release.
exactly.
So,
No, that's actually really clever. So,
yeah.
yeah, Blizzard, if you need some new PR ideas, you know who to contact. No, but that's actually great because imagine you announce beforehand, yeah, so on this date we have a free weekend. But then Cyberpunk delays their game, and then do they have to delay the free weekend too?
Um,
No, I mean that doesn't happen
yeah.
very often, anyways. But no,
Yeah.
that's a very interesting way of doing things. I think that could be interesting. I think that could be
Yeah.
a very smart thing.
So, as usual, we always cover what's new on the Shadowlands beta. And the answer is sort of a lot, but also not much in the future because they did a special build on Friday in addition to Tuesday. And in this build, it is now marked as a release candidate, not a test candidate.
Yep.
So this is an indicator that there aren't going to be many wild changes at this point. It's going to be, smaller things, but not like we're revamping a system. That said, there will probably still be class changes. They'll just do them via hotfix as opposed to like taking down the whole game with maintenance. But release is basically okay. We're going to try to lock things in, like work on localization. This is polished. We're okay shipping this version of the game so people can play it.
Yep.
But as we've been covering with lots of articles, covenants are still getting a lot of tuning. Some classes have like OP interactions that haven't been looked at, so you can't really predict what's strong in advance. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of balance knob, tuning, even though it's marked as a release candidate.
Yep.
So still feel like Shadowlands could have benefited from, being in
2 weeks.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like we've started up a series on Wowhead where we highlight the best covenants and legendaries for each spec every week, just so people can like stay educated. But we are like, hey, this is going to change every week. You know, this isn't like don't pick your class and covenant based on this list because it's always changing. And we
Wait,
even did an
no,
article.
really? I already did it. I already picked all my covenants. I've got them all ready for all my ults.
We even did an article called like this is our not a tier list, why it's still too early to pick a class, like here are some bugs, and everyone thought this spec was OP, but then it was because of a broken ability and then they fixed it and now it's down at the bottom. And I feel like Blizzard will keep trying to struggle and deal with this class tuning. And maybe if they had a few more weeks it wouldn't feel so like I don't know, like frantic with it, or it could have been more spaced out. Because as part of that, the monks always meme that they don't get very many blue posts. Some specs feel that they are a little confused. They don't know if Blizzard is listening or what's planned. And I think they could have used a few more weeks to explain some things more, or just make more changes and not have this sense of panic of like, oh my god, look at these changes. I guess they're going to stay in place before launch, like we don't have much time left. And also avoid American Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. That's also true.
Yeah, I'm still a little about that, but I guess, we'll take it in stride. A lot of my coworkers have been trying to take days off in advance in case, the release makes them work over their holidays. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm still been a big fan of early December and the release candidate not happening for a few more weeks.
Yep.
But in relaxing news, we did
Oh.
have a beta update on new Shadowlands music for Ardenweald that had like a night fae, night elf aesthetic to it. All of this is on our YouTube channel. The new pieces were like Souls of Darnassus, the Nightwake Maw, but we wanted to play a little bit of the one called the Dreamer because it has it sounds very familiar to some past Night Elf music.
I'll play it for you. Let's go. Okay, it's really difficult to pick a moment where it's good to
Yeah.
pause. So I'm gonna kind of let it continue playing in the background. And yeah, Perk as a night elf main and someone who's very interested in music. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's obviously called The Dreamer, themed after the Green Dragon played and Ysera. And the orchestration is really reminiscent of Night Song, which is, the iconic Night Elf piece added, like wow, so many years back. And you can really hear it around a minute into the piece. So what hearing that made me wonder, and then Souls of Darnassus, obviously it's used for the Night Fae campaign, but it made me think, it's cool that we're getting this night elf themed music. Wouldn't it be interesting if this was used in another place? Like maybe they're not, maybe they wouldn't get Teldrassil back, but this music seems like it could work if there was a new night elf hub, somewhere else, like maybe in, I don't know, Mount Hyjal or somewhere. So I was really I'm excited by these, and yeah, I mean, it just, the whole song basically feels like a kind of like remix, like interpretation of the earlier Night Elf piece. So I think it could fit well in more like Night Elf storylines.
It's so
So
beautiful. It just made me
yeah,
so relaxed right now. It's so
yeah, it's
beautiful. Like the instruments, the voice, everything put together. And it's a really nice with a throwback to Night Song as well.
Yeah, which was also used in Ysera's death. So as we see her story continue, it's nice how like the Night Elf song is continuing as well, and kind of reflects the like their fate. Like in Cataclysm, like they were this flourishing civilization, and then they had some setbacks, and
Mm-hmm.
now their story is continuing in another way. So hopefully, it will continue to grow as well.
Yeah, I still feel like Night Elves never really got their justice.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean the
still
Night
waiting
Fae
for that.
campaign, I mean I get the sense in all the campaigns that they all end kind of on cliffhangers where like one thing gets solved, but then there's a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Night Fae, it's definitely like, yay, we solved like one or two things, but we're trying to figure out like how to harness the power of the Night Warrior in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And like what can we do moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in 9-1 we're definitely going to see things continue
Mm-hmm.
with the Night Elves, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
so
but yeah, more music is on Wowhead's YouTube,
mm-hmm.
and we just thought the Dreamer was the coolest one we thought out of the new music.
I want to make an official complaint, Perk, to you guys for telling me that my spec best covenant is not Night Fae, because
Uh-oh.
that means I cannot experience these stories. No, it's okay. I guess I'll make an alt.
Demonology for Mythic Plus is Night Fae and Venthyr. So
Okay, so the content that I'll probably do the least, with the spec that I'll do the least. Okay. Wait, what did you say is best for it?
Night Fae and Venthyr, according to this chart.
Okay, so if I go the demonology route and focus a little bit more on Mythic Plus, I can
Yes.
look like a very sweet fox. Okay, I'll keep
Yes.
that in mind.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So where were we? Oh, before we go on,
Just
actually, let me give a
yeah.
quick shout out to Threnduil333 with his 4-month resub. Thank you for supporting Wowhead.
Yeah.
And now, yep.
So, yeah. We highlighted a bunch of merchandise last week, and Blizzard dropped another surprise bunch of merchandise on Friday, and this is very practical. They are pre-orders for face masks, and they have them for all games, but you are most interested in the Blizzard ones and the Alliance and Horde masks. And there are packs of 3. They cost $25 and they are set to ship around December 15th.
Yeah.
And they look really cute. They are in different colors if you don't want a black version or something more colorful or festive. The Blizzard mask is interesting as well. And I believe they even have an Overwatch and a Diva one. And then, of course, Diablo, StarCraft, and Hearthstone, and Heroes.
Yep.
So, as usual, there's a disclaimer on the product page that this is not like a medical device, and people are assuming this to mean it's like a fashion mask and not real. This is real. Like all masks have that disclaimer. Like even the really like ugly, boring ones. They're protective devices, but they're not obviously the same as wearing a fancy medical mask, or like a shield over your head.
Yeah.
But it's not a scam. Like these aren't just like fashion accessories you put over your face. If you use them properly, they will help. And I don't know. I also think like just in general when it's cold outside, like a mask just seems convenient to wear to
Oh,
just
that's actually true
protect.
for
Yeah.
wintertime. I'm always so cold. My face is always hurting when it's cold. Uh, so maybe it's a good way to get something that looks nice on your face as well, than just
Yeah.
the part of it being a mask.
Yeah. So, not sure if more are coming. Keep in mind though that we know more of the Gearfest merchandise is coming on the 16th. So, probably things like shirts, jackets, leggings, maybe jewelry, and that's next week. And also don't forget that the Gearfest sale started last Monday, and that had things like the oh yeah, like the Illidan Funko, the Murloc Funko, all of the BlizzCon collectible pins in 3 different variants now: gold, platinum, and regular. Mouse pads, lots of interesting collectibles that came out last week in preparation for the holidays.
Yep.
And speaking of that, we have a cute news story regarding the Thrall statue. Uh, Blizzard sent Chris Metzen, their former senior vice president of story and franchise development,
Oh, you're
a
lagging a
Thrall
bit.
statue.
It was hard to hear what you said.
Oh wait, I see latency. One sec.
I think maybe now it's okay.
Test.
Seems okay, I think. It's hard to
Test.
say unless you're talking. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there was a cute story regarding the merchandise
Mm-hmm.
with Chris Metzen. Is this better?
Yes.
Cool.
So far, so
Yeah,
good.
so Chris Metzen, he just announced his new company, War Chief Gaming, which could be a nod to Thrall. And Blizzard sent him a copy of the Thrall statue, and he posted a picture of it next to art he commissioned of basically his family envisioned as Thrall. Like he's Thrall. Agra is they're sitting in a field. Their children are there looking really happy. There's a really cute puppy. And Thrall, Metzen may no longer work at the company, but he continues to voice Thrall and identifies really closely, with the character, obviously to the point when his, company is named War Chief Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice move on Blizzard's part to give him the statue of a character he, really loves so much and continues to bring to life.
Definitely. Yes. Very, very good move. Very good move.
Also, something that I learned that may make Thrall's weapons make a little more sense. Um, I do not have a copy of the statue, but looking at the product page, apparently, his hands can unscrew on and off, and there are versions with and without holding weapons. So this makes
Oh.
more sense now, as opposed to like, why is he using Doomhammer and then he got rid of Doomhammer and he's using his BFA weapon now? It's like, oh well, I guess, Thrall is meant to encompass all time periods. They can't make, 4 different Thrall statues. So you can have Doomhammer Thrall if you want to, rep vanilla old school Thrall. But if you want BFA Thrall, then you can use the other weapon. But
That's
most people are
cool.
just like, they're both cool. Use all weapons.
Yeah. Okay, that's a nice little detail. I think
Yeah.
that also explains the price a little bit. Not entirely though. It's a very expensive statue
Yeah.
still, but it's a
I
very
mean,
very nice statue.
I
And
think it's also really heavy.
yes,
Like
it
it's
was.
it's probably bigger than we think.
Yeah,
Um, like the Jaina one I have over in the corner, I don't think has multiple, arm options. It's just she looks really cool.
mm-hmm.
I also don't think she's 40 pounds because I'm not sure I would have been able to, you know,
To
carry her
carry.
up that
Yeah,
high. uh, so maybe there's some details we don't know about, or like if the paint job was more detailed on Thrall. I'm not sure. It's strange because I mean, yes, the price is expensive, but then when statues in general are expensive, depend no
true.
matter what fandom you're in. It's not like I was like, oh yes, I've got my row of statues here because they're just expensive in general.
Wait, you don't
um
have a row of statues?
yeah, I mean, besides the dolls, but they're like like $10 at this point. um but yeah, so yeah, that was just like a sweet note to end on, and hopefully it'll be interesting if Thrall uses Doomhammer in Shadowlands, but I think they just included it because for old school players, they associate Thrall with
Complete
Doomhammer,
set.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be weird for him not to have it.
Mm-hmm. Now I really like the choices made for the statue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think that's actually all the news that we got from last week till now.
yeah, Blizzard dumped everything last Monday between the anniversary event, the Shadowlands release date, and all of the new merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of front loaded
Mm-hmm.
all of that, and then end of the week it was like, okay, go relax. We got everything done early on.
Yep. If you want to, you can of course read details of every single news on wowhead.com, but we try to present the most important ones here on the show, the ones that seem to be causing the most interest, and the ones that are most relevant to regular players. And also lore enthusiasts. We do try to cover all the main things for all of the people. But yeah, for now, we just gotta sit back, relax, and wait for the invasion to pop tomorrow for NA and the day after for us
Yeah,
in EU.
cinematic. I'm excited about the
Oh yeah,
cinematic.
true. Oh, the cinematic. Yeah, that's a good point. And as usual, thank you NA for beta testing it for us. If you guys have a 10-hour downtime, I hope we will have max 1 hour. No, but hopefully it goes smooth for you guys as well. What time does pre-patch event hit? It should hit with the weekly reset, I believe. Am I right, Burke?
Yeah, let me see if Blizzard CS has posted anything about downtime.
Okay.
Um uh Maintenance schedule. BattleNet 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Warcraft 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific. So yeah, for those 2 hours it will be down, and then 9 a.m. Pacific, hopefully you can log back in and start doing the quest and getting your gear.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
Those are the updated times, so you can keep those times in mind for the new invasion. Get your ults
Yeah, it's not
ready, get
super
some
long.
gear. No, it seems like it's a short one. So if it does go as planned, you guys should be able to play it ASAP. Which normally does make sense because a lot of the patches are basically already built into the game itself. I feel like usually the patch, like the 9.0 patch, is usually a lot heavier than this patch, which is like a additional patch on top of the first one. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Things could still happen. Things could still go wrong, but it's most likely going to be a pretty smooth transition.
Yeah,
for
well,
most
it's
of
like
us.
what we saw a few weeks ago. It was weird how like Nathanos briefly spawned, and then like some things were up in Icecrown.
Was that with
You
the
know,
pre-patch, like 9.0?
Yeah, I think people were speculating
Yeah.
that maybe that's when it was meant to start, and it was right when Blizzard had the fire in Irvine, so maybe some things were disorganized
Mm.
and stuff was like auto scheduled and it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's hoping.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to cinematic, hopefully, of
Yeah, me too.
Tehran being successful. Yay.
Yes, I hope to see more of Tyrande. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it from us this week. We'll see you guys again next week, same time, and we'll cover the cinematic for sure, and whatever else is happening between now and then. Thank you guys very much for
Yeah.
watching and supporting. Feel free to follow the channel here if you're now watching us live on Twitch. It's the Twitch page. We're always on this channel doing this show live, which means sometimes we get even live news in the middle of the show. We're like, hey, actually, there's this new thing. It's going to be posted on Wowhead in 5 minutes, but we're going to tell you guys before they know.
Yeah.
And after the show, these are always uploaded onto YouTube, so you might be watching this after Monday as the show is uploaded straight after we are done.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to take part in the chat, you can feel free to watch us live. If you want to watch in your own time on YouTube, you can feel free to watch it there. We do try to sometimes read the comments as well, so if you guys do have any questions, feel free to post them on either media. On Twitch if you're watching live, and on YouTube if you're watching after.
Yeah, I think maybe by next show, I think Blizzard is sending me some of the Gearfest merch to review, but it hasn't arrived quite yet. So I think I'm getting some of the Funko Pops and pins. So
Cool.
that should be something for next show. I know I've been highlighting a lot of merch recently, like this chair I've been using, which the cat also likes to sit on, and my microphone that he's been also unplugging as well. Great endorsements. The cat likes to sit and play with the Warcraft merch.
Cats like them. There you go.
Yes.
Cat approved. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell.
Yep.
See y'all next week. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Oh, the high five.
Oh, yeah.
The high five.
Let's go.
Yeah. I don't think Brightpost's coming over. We can still do the high five. So, you want to do the countdown?
You do it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we got it.
Yay. Good job.
Yeah, it has to be you who does the countdown because there's a delay on Discord, so I just watch you instead. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yep. See you.
Bye. Wash hands. High fives virtually are very, very safe.
Yep. Very
we
safe.
encourage. Bye.